Yes, right ahead.
All right. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, welcome. My name's Jim Delizia. Even though I can't see you, I know I've seen and know most of you, and very, very excited to be with you. Unfortunately, in this way, I know Brenda Lee is still at an NAR board meeting, so she may pop over when she can. But in honor of your time, I want to get us going. Let me show you the next slide. This is a little fun one that I found. I'm disappointed. I love this session because it's, hundreds of you in a huge ballroom, and I get to walk among you and walk among the tables and chat and have a great dialogue. And I really, really miss that. Being Italian, I love, work with my hands and being with the group. And so I had to find a picture that was somewhat reminiscent of being with you all in the space. So I have this crowd on the screen just for my own mental health to imagine I am there with you in the massive ballroom at the Hilton in DC. Anyway, I also just want to say before we start, in these crazy times, I really, really am so impressed and really touched by your indomitable spirit. It's truly amazing to see what you guys have stepped up very quickly to do. And we wanted to make this celebration certainly one of great ideas and information to keep you going, but really, in my mind, also one of celebration. You are continuing to deliver value to the members and keep them connected with each other, with the council, with the network. And the fact that you're doing that in innovative, fun, creative ways is just truly, truly amazing. So what we want to do in this session, very simply, is to share ideas and successes and resources that you're using to provide value to members, whether it's great programming or great networking events, otherwise connecting them to make them feel that they're heard and they're supported through Women's Council. We have 4 of your peers who are ready to kind of share some really great and productive and effective things that they're doing to hopefully stimulate your thinking. And then after they present, we'll have some Q&A. And then we'll also have time, I'm sure, for others of you to share what you're doing so we can get even more ideas out in the open here. So just some basics on Zoom webinars. You're all muted and with no video with a webinar format. So when it's time for comments or questions, I'll ask you to raise your virtual hand, which you can find at the bottom of the participants screen. So on your toolbar, you open up participants, you'll see the ability to raise your hand, and then we'll call on you in order, and Olivia will unmute you so that you can make your comment or ask your question, okay? All right, so that being said, I think we're ready to kind of dive into this. Let me unshare my screen here. And Jamie, would you introduce our first speaker?
I would love to. So we have some really great presenters for you today. It's really exciting. And our first presenter is going to be Catherine Sakas. And Catherine is the president of Tampa. So if Olivia, if you would unmute Catherine, and once you're unmuted, Catherine, you can start your presentation.
And she can unmute herself as a panelist.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you are.
There you are, Catherine. You're ready to go.
Tell us what you've been doing, Catherine.
Well, we've been very busy here in Tampa, and we like to look at this as an opportunity, and it is a challenge, but it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow and to create even more value for our members and strategic partners. So that being said, by way of a little background, early in March, actually I remember the day, it was about March 12th, I woke up to hear the news that they were starting to cancel national sports events and that a local school had closed for the day due to contact. And I thought, well, this thing seems to be a lot bigger than what we already knew. And so maybe as Women's Council president, I should start preparing for the worst. So I immediately reached out to our Greater Tampa Board of Realtors, asked them what they were thinking. They were thinking the same thing. They were preparing to go for a shutdown. There was all kinds of rumors in the air about whether what we'd be able to do, not be able to do. But from that point, I just focused on our members and our strategic partners. Now, precipitously, we already had a lot of systems in place. I personally already had Zoom. I was familiar with Zoom. I had previously reached out to the state president weeks prior with permission to have a Zoom governing board meeting, so I knew that could be done. We had an entire year of programming already set up for our members and strategic partners, which I knew we could pivot over to live events for Zoom. And so then that thinking turned around to our strategic partners. Well, we all know how important our strategic partners are. Our members are invaluable, but without our strategic partners, we wouldn't have our operating networks. So, and the format that everyone's used to is they come to events and they're recognized and the meet and mingle. And I thought, well, how can we feature them otherwise? And so then I had what I call a Holy Spirit moment when I have an idea that's too smart for me to think of, you know. So I had the idea to go live and create a live stream that would feature our strategic partners. And so it would not only feature them, it would be a benefit to our members. So I came up with the idea of leadership live stream, focusing on the number one hallmark of Women's Council being developing leadership, and recognizing that all of our strategic partners were leaders in their own way, in that they ran their own businesses, mostly small businesses. Okay. So backing up to that, when I said we already had systems in place, last year when I was president-elect, I more or less took over the marketing end of our organization, and we brought in a social media marketing company as a strategic partner in kind that took over our posting, our Facebook amplified marketing. So we had them in place. We had switched from MailChimp to Constant Contact. We had that in place. And we had a great national affiliate volunteer, Cindy Maxey, that was doing that. So we had these great systems already in place. And that being said, fast forward a couple days and it's March 18th and our county announced full shelter-in-place shutdown. So here we were, but being that there was already somewhat of a plan in place, even though it was very fluid, I was able right the next day to reach out to all our strategic partners, tell them the plan, the format, were they interested, got a resounding yes, and started to line up programming. So the long and short, the 18th was our shutdown day, and the very next week, the 25th, we came out with our first leadership live stream. Fantastic. So it did happen quickly, but it was 2 weeks worth of quickly because we were fortunate enough to be proactive before the actual shutdown was declared. So here's the idea. We have Amplified that's going to execute it. We have marketing with Constant Contact. So how do you get the word out? Well, we started very simply sending out, it's a Wednesday show. We send out Constant Contacts with links to the show to all of our members and our entire list. Now, we're a network of about 70, but if you've ever been to one of our events or asked a question, you get on our list. So we have a mailing list of like 700 people.
Wow.
Okay. We also had a Facebook page already in place with almost 1,200 followers. Wow. Okay. So we go from Constant Contact to an event post and start creating buzz. And then at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, we go live. Fantastic. So that's kind of the genesis of how it happened, how it started. And right now, because of that early start, we've had 7 episodes, featured a number of strategic partners. We have more to go. But also as part of this, our strategic partners are not only very happy, and those that have been on are very happy, and they also get to share the link to their social media, so they get exposure that way. And then because of it, we actually picked up 2 more strategic partners because of this exposure, and then one of them leveled up to another level.
Wow.
So it's had a really good outcome. When we're done with the show, now it's kind of funny, in the beginning, those of you that were involved, Facebook was not ready for this, either was Zoom. So the first couple shows crashed, right, immediately. And we brought them out on replay. And when we bring them on replay, it's not just to our Facebook. I post it all over. Y'all are probably sick of seeing me. It goes on national, it goes on state, it goes every place. And then our strategic partners do the same. And also what we had in place, the mantra for Women's Council this year in Tampa is like and share, like and share. So anything our members get in their feed, they like and share. So organically, we're spreading the word exponentially. And then also on the marketing end, with the Facebook invite, we're going one step further and we're paying to play. So we're boosting the post through 3 counties. What a lot of people don't realize, Tampa's large in itself to service, but as Women's Council, we service the surrounding 2 counties, Pinellas
Wow.
and Pasco. And so we're looking to reach, close to 20,000 agents. And you can't just do that on organic reach. So you have to go out there and pay to boost. So go ahead. You had a question?
No, I was going to say, I'm watching the chat too. When did you say the show starts? When do you do, what's the timing?
It's Wednesdays at 1:00.
Okay.
And it's technically an hour.
Okay.
What we do, if the conversation's going great, there's enough to talk about, it's an hour. If it's 40 minutes, it's 40 minutes.
Got it.
Back
Great.
to value. We're not just
Yep.
going to waste time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I have a specific format I follow. We come out of the pike. I have Amplified on Mark with me as a host. Nick watches all the chat and takes the questions. And then I start off with the mission statement of Women's Council, and then discuss leadership and how this is going to help everyone improve their leadership skills. We go into discussing whatever strategic partner. We get the bio. I ask them questions, about their background, what they're doing to pivot in COVID, how that can relate to our real estate members, and on and on. So the discussion is very fluid, very lively, and they get a copy of all this the day before.
Like a radio talk show.
Yeah, so they're not blind. Yeah, we're very organized about it. So, but then selfishly and self-servingly, there's 2 final questions that happen every time. And the first final question is, well, now that we've discussed all this, can you tell us why you think it's important to be a member and strategic partner for Women's Council?
Very good.
So I force them into a testimonial. Okay. So then I take a break from them and I use the opportunity to inform our members of our next upcoming events, next virtual, what's going on at national, to tune in to WCR.org. Then the ending question is always, what do you think is the best thing that's come out of this? And it's always something good, because the important thing is to end the entire session on a positive note.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we get a lot of engagement on chat. That's, we take questions.
Okay.
So
Good.
it's very
So a couple of quick logistical questions I'm just seeing. Is it limited? Is there a limited number of participants?
Well, what we found is in the beginning, like I said, since Facebook has sort of manned up, so to speak, to use the term, and so is Zoom, and they've gotten better, but they were kind of shaky in the start. So we moved to Be Live as a platform. It was much more stable.
Okay.
And so that allows me and 2 hosts. We have the amplified co-host.
Okay.
And then we have 2 guests. And so we either pair to mortgage, to title, or like what we did this year to increase the value of our strategic partners and also increase the dollar amount. We allowed at certain levels, like once you get to the gold level with us, you can have 2 members from your firm.
Okay.
So sometimes we have 2 members from the firm, and having 2 people on with you makes for lively engagement.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Catherine, how can they view one of your shows? Where can they find it if anybody wants to see it?
As I said, we're blessed to preemptively have a lot of things in place, and along last year with bringing on Amplified Marketing as our social media sponsor in kind, a strategic partner in kind. This year we brought on Fabri Frameworks Photography. And in the good old days when we had events, the last 2 months, they came in and made professional videos out of our events, to which we opened a YouTube channel, okay? With the intent that all of our events this year were going to become video.
Okay.
Well, we've pivoted. We have our first 3 events there, and now we have all of our live streams. So if you want to see it, you go to YouTube and then put in Women's Council of Tampa, and you will see not only our beautiful 3 events, but our live streams.
Great.
Excellent.
That's terrific. You know, everybody keep thinking of your questions and jot them down, because as soon as all the panelists are done, we'll open it up for other questions as well. You know, the main message I got, well, this is a lot great for what you said, but the main thing that I got that's a real takeaway is you were prepared to pivot quickly. You had your technology in place, you had your social media plan in place, you had all the basic infrastructure there.
Right.
And that allowed you to pivot very, very quickly. And the fact that the shutdown order occurred on one day and you were live with your first session a mere, the next week is really impressive. And the preparation piece, I think, is just huge. So, so stay with us, Diane. I'm sure there'll be other questions too. But we're going to get to the other panelists. And before we do that, I understand that Brenda Lee, are you there? Were you able to join us? We may have to unmute her. We can find her, Olivia. There she is. Brenda Lee, I know you were at the NAR board meeting, but we've proceeded on. But I want to give you the opportunity to say hi before we go further.
I don't know. Can you all hear me?
We
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes.
Can you see my face too?
No, we cannot see your lovely face.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Well, yes, I just wanted.
Oh,
Try
shoot.
again.
Oh, what's happening?
You're
Oh,
good.
wow.
You're good.
Look
Go
at
ahead.
this.
There you are.
There you are.
There I am. Look how fast that staff operates. What?
Look at
You
that.
can't see her face? Yes, Jim, thank you so much for leading us down this path. We appreciate you greatly. And I want to make sure everybody is aware that we appreciate them as well. And let's do some more learning and let's keep rolling forward into our new future, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sending it back to you, Jim.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Good to have you with us. All right, Jamie, let's get our next speaker.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine, for your presentation. We appreciate you. Second is Courtney DeMarco. And Courtney actually is the Director of Membership at Northeast Ohio. So Courtney's doing some great stuff. Wait till you hear this. It's something every day. And they've got some great ideas there. So Courtney, go right ahead.
Thank you. It's not actually as scary as it sounds when she says something every day. I have to just, it sounds like so much more than it is. It will make sense when we kind of go through it. But I have to just get this off my chest and just say that while I was sitting here, I was shaking and I felt I was going to throw up. Because I'm like so excited, and I just felt like if I let everybody know that that's how I felt, I could move forward with it. So there's a couple things, and it really is because everyone's at home. Screen time is up, whether you like that or you hate it, it's up, and so it absolutely is an opportunity. And one of the things that our network was always really great about in the first place was social media. And we've got some really great social media guru type of people in our network. And so our social media was good, but we've used this time to become really. And that's where, when we talk about having something every day, it's really for social media, because we're not meeting one another. And so they're theme days. And we've incorporated that into having a specific hashtag for each day, because when this is all over, we can go back and search that hashtag or click on that hashtag and find all of the posts for that particular theme day in one place. That's what hashtags are for in the first place. And so encourage, if you like these ideas, that you start using these same hashtags, because when people in one area start using them, then everyone's posts go into that place. But when people across an entire nation start using a hashtag every week, then it becomes a trending hashtag. And of course, then we can all see what one another are doing on these days, which I think is really the magic of it. So I just want to say that on our Facebook page, we do start every morning off with something motivational. People are looking for that motivation in the morning. We're definitely, making little quotes inside of Canva. We do like to post motivational, business motivational, personal motivational, and leadership type quotes. We like to call that the WCR vibe, because it's what the Women's Council makes us feel. And so each one of the posts that we create has the hashtag WCR vibe on the bottom of it. And then we do use that tag in the actual post along with our other Women's Council hashtags. But so every morning we're starting off with some motivation, but Monday is Magic Monday. It doesn't get much more fun than that. So just a post to make you feel good and be inspired for the rest of the week. See, this isn't hard. You can totally do that, right? And we're using the hashtag Magic Monday because we want people to feel great. It's a new week. It's a new day. It's a new opportunity for everything to be amazing and magical. And it starts with your mindset. So really easy. It's just a Facebook post on Monday. And if something magical in our network happens, we'll go ahead and share that on Monday as well. On Tuesdays, this is tips on Tuesday. On Tuesdays, we're usually going to give you some type of tip. This past week, it was, now is the time to update your WCR profile. Get your picture in there. Let's make sure that you've got your correct phone number and your correct email, because that's how people are going to know who you are and share referrals. But it can also be other tips, a lot of different social media tips and how-to tips for your business. And then obviously, we like to slide the WCR stuff in there as well, because that's fun. So tips on Tuesday. Now, I want to let you know that we are doing 2 lives a week. Tuesday is one of those days, but I'm going to talk about the lives at the end, okay? So Wednesday is Women's Council Wednesday, right? So hashtag Women's Council Wednesday. And this is the day of the week that actually our Facebook page gets so much engagement. And it's because people like seeing themselves. They like to be recognized and they like to be able to share that. This is something that costs us $0 and we can do for free. And then your member gets to be featured, share that with their business page, share that in the groups they're in, share it to their page. And so because so many shares happen, the engagement on Women's Council Wednesday is huge. So this is where we take a photo. We've got a custom little template built in Canva. We upload their photograph and then we say a bio and their contact information. And I'll tell you that the members absolutely love that. So we're sharing our members on Wednesday for Women's Council Wednesday. Now on Thursday's Thank You Thursday. So this is where we have someone in our network who, is volunteering, who's helping, who raises their hands, who gives back to the industry, who's a participator, and we're thankful for them. And we let them know that we're thankful for them, and we tell them why. And it's the same thing. People love photos too. So whenever you're gonna recognize somebody, using that photo is really gonna get you the extra sort of oomph. So we'll upload their headshot into a little pre-made template that we have made on Canva, and it says thank you all over it, blue and yellow, and we've got the logo on there. And we let them know why we're thankful for them. So yesterday, we have one of our longtime members who's also very involved in raising funds for RPAC. And we're so thankful for that because over here in Ohio, real estate was deemed essential. So we're all working. And we do believe that our Ohio Realtors and RPAC had a lot to do with that. So we're thankful for her and for all of her contributions to RPAC and raising those funds. And that's what we stated on the Thank You Thursday. Okay, last but not least, we have Feel Good Friday, because want to feel good on a Friday. I do. And our strategic partners make us feel good. Let's be honest. They make us all feel really good. They help us with everything. We wouldn't have the network that we have if it wasn't for them. Again, this is a really cutesy, kind of fun, pre-made template that we have on Canva. And it's not just a, hey, get your home inspection from this guy. They're fun facts. That's why it's a feel good. So, you know, a bucket list item, what his favorite book or his favorite song is. You know, does he have children, or what his dog's name is, what he specializes in. If he's on a committee at Women's Council, you know, we would post that as well, put his headshot, and it's all the yellow and blue. And we tag them in the post. Feel Good Friday, along with our other Women's Council hashtags. And we explain why we feel good that this person's our partner, and we thank them for being a partner. And again, those get a lot of interaction. So if you're not using the Facebook tools to really see how your posts are doing, you're missing out, because again, that's free. I definitely love pay to play. Our network currently is not doing that, but maybe we'll talk about it and have a vote and see if we can do that, because I do that for my own personal business. But we're still using the Facebook analytics to track and see what these posts engagement are getting. And when you share pictures of people, the engagement is through the roof. So those are theme days. And so again, it sounds like we're doing something every day, but it's really just posting, featuring people, thanking people, highlighting them. Lots and lots of action on the page because of this. And so that's what we want. We want people to say, hey, I've got to hop over to the page and see what's happening today. We want them to look and see who's being featured. But this is what really, really happened over, you know, the stay-at-home order and everything. Our program director, Cindy, I hope she's watching. If she is, hello, Cindy, I love you so much. But we got together right away with some of the other people in programs, and we knew that it had to go virtual. If you're not leaving your house, everything has to be virtual. How many people do we have? How many people do you have managing the daily posting, creations of the graphics? So that's a great question, because we've been doing kind of such a cool job with it at the local level. Our state president has had me put together a task force. So what we're putting in place is, right now we just have a few people, to be honest, but now that it's up and rolling and people know what it looks like, now we're having more volunteers. But you would want to have one person a day. So a good task force would be to have 5 people. And so they could sit there and make 30 posts. You know, they can make 30 motivational posts, or have the templates ready so that once a week they're just uploading. So one person per day would really be ideal.
Okay.
Okay.
Courtney, before you go on, another technical question. Where can folks see some samples of your postings?
Women's Council of Realtors, Northeast Ohio.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is what we did. We knew that we had to move into this virtual space, and we knew that we weren't going to have programs, which we love having our big programs. Yes, it's a project team. So at the state level, they're calling it a task force, but yes, at the local level, it is a project team that is sort of permanent at this point. So with it being in a virtual space, we knew we weren't going to have these big programs. We are hoping to eventually be able to gather at one point, because we are big fans of Dancing with the Realtors, and that just isn't going to work via Zoom. But for education and things like that, it works to be able to do some things virtually. So what we're doing on Tuesdays is our live member update. And then on Thursdays, we have our live partner update. Now, when we're doing our partner update on Thursdays, we do reserve it for one person per area of expertise. So we don't have 2 mortgage people sort of back and forth with one another. It's one mortgage person, one title person, one home inspector. Now, I'm going to tell you that the platform that we use is called StreamYard. And the reason that we like it is because you can have up to 6 guests, although that can be a little cumbersome. And then not each person really gets enough time. So a really great amount of people to have when you're interviewing them would be no more than 3. So one person asking questions, no more than 3 people. This way, each person has enough time to really share their information and share their area of expertise. But the reason that we use StreamYard, so you can look that up at StreamYard.com. There are free packages. We do have the upgraded package. It's about $60 a month, but here's why it's amazing. It looks like a news broadcast. So we've branded it. We have a yellow and blue marble background. We've got our logo on it. When people log log in, they type in their display name, it pops up in blue banners. We have a ticker that runs across the bottom that explains to people how to join. Go to WCR.org, click join now, select Ohio as your state and Northeast Ohio as your network. That runs across the bottom. And then you can play around with the banners throughout the broadcast. So throughout the broadcast, you'll see the words WCR Live Partners Update will come on the screen. Additionally, as people are commenting, some of the comments can be seen on the screen as well. So it does go straight to Facebook. I'm able to stream it to different destinations. So I can put it directly on my Facebook profile. I can put it on my business page. I can put it on the Women's Council page, inside of groups, onto a YouTube channel, onto a LinkedIn. So you can stream live through StreamYard onto multiple destinations. And then you could get the different views and traction from each one of those destinations. And of course, the look of it is really, really slick. So that is why we chose to go with that one. And I'll give you a perfect example. On Tuesdays, when we do the member updates, that's where our members, the focus and the concentration is, what are you doing to stay healthy, happy, and productive, right? Because everything's different. Nothing is the same. We're all operating differently. And so this is an opportunity for our members to stay connected with one another, for our partners to stay connected with our members, for everybody to sort of be featured, but also to share things that can help the other members and help the other partners. Maybe things that one realtor is doing, their other friends didn't think of, now they've tuned in, and we've got a great following, people in the comments, commenting and supporting and asking questions. So there's a lot of great stuff happening with those, but we always use the opportunity with the member update to sort of plug the partners as well. So if someone asks a question, you know, our program director, Cindy, will be in the comments and she'll say, here, Joe, our junk removal guy, here's his phone number. And then it'll pop up on the screen for those watching. So it's a really cool platform. Absolutely love it. And again, that platform is called StreamYard. So doing those videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays has really helped us to stay in front of our partners and our members. One last hashtag day is Wednesdays, not every single Wednesday because we have to work, but once a month we've been doing the Wind Down Wednesday. You see so many people doing. And the thing of it is they're fun. And that's another opportunity for us to put our strategic partners out there. Our last Wind Down Wednesday, our homeowners insurance agent and our home inspector partners, they were the hosts. They led a scavenger hunt. They held a virtual background contest. They ran it. You know, we created the link, but they hopped on and they ran it and everybody had a great time.
That's great.
To include them as much as possible.
I have a question.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I don't think you answered this question. Somebody asked, how do you delegate the responsibilities for each day? How do you choose?
Yeah, she has the project team.
So people choose for themselves. Yeah. And it's important to say, because a lot of people were scared at first. They said, well, I'm not as good at social media as you, or I'm not as good at social media as maybe Cindy. And so the thing of it is that this is an opportunity for you to get better. That's what Women's Council is. So we're people who were not good at social media, who had never used Canva. Now you're a part of this and you're learning how to do it. So now you're contributing, you've learned a skill, and now you can put that skill to work for your business. And that's what it's all about.
Fantastic. Quintessential Women's Council. That is fantastic. Leadership development. Great. Thank you. Okay, so
in the chat, Jim.
Okay.
Does the StreamYard program allow the graphics for the membership spotlight for the stills also?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, so stay on with us, Courtney. We have some further questions in a minute, but Jamie, let's get to the next speaker.
Okay, Diane Johansson is going to talk to you about cabin fever in coffee. I hope I got that right. Diane is from president of Alameda County,
California.
Good morning, everybody.
There you are.
Good morning, Diane.
On where you're at. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I was very honored to do that. So I just want to preface this whole thing that without my dynamic team behind me, none of this would have happened. And they've all stepped up in a major way. So I'm just going to go down a list of things that we do for all our events. We started, our first event was April 2nd of 2020. And we titled it Cabin Fever and Coffee. So we did that one. And so all of our speakers have been free of charge. If they have additional services, we allow a plug so that they can, for those services that they provide. And our local association is supporting us this year bigger and better than ever, which is awesome. And what we do is the first event was on a Thursday, but after that has been consistently on Tuesdays at 2:00 p.m. They happen every 2 weeks. We have a Q&A at the end, and whoever's in charge of that, they actually screen all the questions so that we're not going through the chats. They write them down so that we can just have rapid fire at the end. And then our programs are scheduled between 60 and 90 minutes. And we kind of look at all the participants and see if we're losing people, but we don't seem to lose anybody even at the 90-minute mark. There, a couple of people may have to leave for other events that they're doing. And then we have also, the first event that we did, I was in charge of everything. I did the inspiration and introduced people. But now what we've done is we've branched out, and we have, we'll let one of our strategic partners talk about their services. So they're spotlighted. And then we've also, our inspirations are now being done by a strategic partner, members, non-members, and we're just trying to get everybody involved. So the idea with the non-members is to, thank them afterwards and then try and get them on in, mention leadership of Women's Council and get them to be a member with us. And then we also make sure that the day before, all of the speakers and anybody who's involved in the program gets a full agenda so everybody knows what's going on. So our first one was called Cabin Fever and Coffee, and this was our local association update. And we were first on the scene as there was nobody meeting, nobody doing these Zoom calls. So what we did is we invited our local marketing meetings from all the surrounding cities. And then we allowed all the presidents to introduce themselves and just give a little plug about what they're doing. We also involved YPN and did the same thing. And at the end, we did listing presentations, and we also did buyer wants and needs, which kind of was representative of the local marketing meetings. So that one, we had 77 people in attendance, and we had David Stark, who is our public affairs director, and he did a market update. These people were all from our association. Tina Hand is the president of Bay East, so she gave a president's address, and she was also our 2017 president. And then Jackie Diaz was a compliance specialist for the MLS, and she gave a great update on all the new rules and forms. So that was a great event. And slowly after that, then, things got, the marketing meetings started coming up with their stuff and all of that. So then 2 weeks later, we had Cabin Fever and Coffee #2. We also had City and Economic Update, and Leslie Appleton Young was there. And also we had the Mayor of Livermore. That one, we had about 65 in attendance, which overall, this is more people than we would have when we had our monthly meetings, so that, you know, we captured a lot more people. And, you know, we didn't have to worry about the events, you know, feeding people lunch, and which was eliminated a lot of stress. We do enjoy those things, but it just, and we could get the information out there. And how we did our advertising is we put a flyer on Facebook page. We MailChimped blast to everyone who had ever come to our events. We shared all on our Facebook pages, sent it out to the association, and they sent it out in their newsletters. And then the day before, we would try and make the calls to all the membership to make sure that they were on. Let's see, on 4/28, we had Cabin Fever and Coffee, and it was called Clutternomics, and that was with Kathleen Ronald. And she was a very dynamic speaker, but this was her first time on Zoom. So she did this, and she also talked about how clutter causes loss of time, money, and peace of mind, how that, you know, will affect you. And that was great. Then we had Cabin Fever and Coffee number 4. That was, we had superintendents of our two of our largest cities, districts, school districts, and that was phenomenal. That was great. They gave great information, and we invited actually all of our clients to that one so that they could participate. And then our last one, which is coming up on the 26th, and that's called Connie and Kenny, You and Your Brand. And they are a dynamic real estate team from Compass, and they are in the top 5% of San Francisco Realtors. They also have additional services. So this is what we've been doing. And I actually had somebody reach out to me last night, asked me to send them an application form, you know, so that they could join Women's Council.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah. Really good. I mean, you know, the fact that you're doing these every couple of weeks and you're getting more participants than you would have at the live meeting. I think this is the trend. I'd like Rebecca. I want you to also address, Rebecca, the attendance thing, and we'll go back to Courtney and Catherine in a minute. But it seems to me we're getting more engagement these days through these platforms than we used to live. I know NAR certainly has, and I think Women's Council Midyear attendance was the highest ever. So it is interesting, the benefit of going through a situation like this. So so thank you very, very much. Diane, just hold the line for a minute. And Jamie, let's go to our final speaker.
Okay, and our 4th speaker is Rebecca Byers, and Rebecca is the president of San Antonio. And Rebecca, there you are.
Yay.
All right. And Rebecca is doing, San Antonio is doing something called Coffee and PJs. Did I get that right, Rebecca?
Yes, she did.
My kind of program. Go for it.
Absolutely. Well, for San Antonio, when actually, and I'll be the first to admit, when COVID hit, I thought, oh, okay, we'll give it 2 weeks. We'll be okay. And I didn't jump on it initially. I did a phone call to our members, just checking on them. Everyone seemed to be doing okay. But when I realized, my great line realized that this was probably going to be going on a while, we came up with an idea called Coffee and PJs. And we do this every Monday morning at 9 a.m. So my big theme with it is messy hair, we don't care. We just want to see you. A big part of that is because much like the ladies before me and much like all of the members of Women's Council and real estate across the board, we're there for our clients. We are there for our families. We are there for, you know, the kids. I mean, and now that everything's going to be shoved in home, you know, I wanted a platform for our members to just come and relax. Messy hair, I don't care. I want to know how you're doing. And so it started out, we do it every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Same graphic, we just change the dates and we send out the Zoom information. Sometimes we get a really high attendance and other times we get a low attendance, and I'm okay with it. I will still be there, my whole line. We'll be there every Monday morning. We have had some visitors. We've had RPAC trustees come and chat with us. We've had, I have Sheila Moran, our new national liaison for the West, coming on Monday. She'll be stopping in and visiting with us. But it was the idea was that for just a moment, we can step back and just be friends and just chat about whatever you want to chat about. On the flip side of that, though, just in case maybe someone's too shy, maybe the group's quiet, I always kind of have a little list of questions off to the side to keep it going.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the dead air. But I want to say so far, it's been pretty successful. And like I said, we've actually scheduled them through the end of June. So even San Antonio is starting to slowly open up. But again, we're going to keep doing this because, you know, there's talk about we're opening, we may be closing, pulling back a little. I'm not real sure. But the one thing that I want to make sure and consistent is that Women's Council is going to be there for our members every Monday morning. And what a great way to kick off the week.
Absolutely.
To just visit with friends, and whether it's coffee, whether it's tea, it's Diet Coke, whatever, just grab something to drink and turn everything off and just sit with your friends. We miss that interaction. And when I send out my messages, I always laugh and say how much all I want to do is just see some faces and hug some necks, but we're not able to do that right now. So this is the best we can do, and we're going to take it and run with it. Much like Courtney said, they do two events a week. We do our coffee and PJs on Mondays, and then sometime during the week, we do offer one other event that we allow our strategic partners to host. So that's an opportunity for them. We get on, we introduce, you know, our line ourselves, thanks for being here. And then we hand over all the controls to one of our strategic partners, and it's up to them to have the topic, to have the speaker, to have the whole content. So really all we're doing is we are just trying to help market them so that they have an opportunity, because it's not the same, you know, they can't get in front of our members every month, every 2 months, whatever, you know, our calendar was. But like I said, we have scheduled all of this through the end of June, and we are seeing great success with it. And I'm really super proud of my line. They have stuck with me in my wild, crazy ideas. And some of them have been so wild that they say, well, wait a minute, Rebecca, we don't think we can do that. So I have a great line that keeps me in check. But with our coffee and PJs, and then our one industry event, so to speak, because, you know, we invite everyone to come and sit. In fact, we had an event, and my nephew, who isn't a realtor, said, hey, Aunt Becky, can I come? And I said, I guess. Here's the Zoom. I don't know what you want. He loved it. He said he learned so much about sales and being a business owner, and he thinks that's the route he's going to go. And I was like, wow. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, anybody can come, I guess.
This is great. We're getting a couple of recurring questions. I'd like all the speakers to unmute themselves if they could. A couple of questions. One is, I think most of you said, or suggested at least, that a lot of these repetitive virtual get-togethers are free. So one of the questions was, how do you intend to sort of recoup what revenue you would be getting through holding live events? So if any of the four of you could share what your revenue stream looks like these days, and how that's shifted, and where you're making up your dollars. Okay.
If I could
Yes.
speak real quick, we had our very first event. We offered a CE, and it was a very minimal cost because it was virtual. Blah blah blah. We actually had people pay for it. I want to say we did $10 for non-members, and then it was free for members, I believe. And we had non-members come to a CE event, and we didn't make a ton of money, but we made a little bit of money. And that was really surprising because so many things are being done free right now.
Right.
But, you know, we did have a speaker, and we wanted to compensate our speaker for his time. And he was totally okay with what we had come up with. So, I mean, I think if you put it out there and you market it or promote it in a way that it gives people value, I think they're very willing to come and sit in for just a few bucks.
Okay. The rest of our panelists, what are your thoughts about the revenue? Yes, Catherine.
Well, we were very fortunate because we got off to a strong start this year, and we've never looked at the majority of our events as big money makers. We kind of pass on the cost of the food and things like that to our members to make it affordable, but we had instituted the practice of having additional event sponsors on top of our strategic partners.
Okay.
So we had an extra pocket of cash. Mm-hmm. And then we were, like I said, very successful in gaining strategic partners and keeping them. So much like so many of the things you go to now, it says, look at your numbers, cut out the fat, you know, do all this personally. We did that immediately as a board and figured out because of the strong start that if we make no more money this year, we can at least break even.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's a comforting thought to know. And if you haven't done that, I suggest you do that.
Yeah.
To know exactly where you stand. And I also believe, as far as charging for events, once and if this becomes the new normal, that we're going to continue the year in virtual events, then I think it will be easier to charge. We
Sure.
felt coming out of the pike at this time, we did not, and we did not have to.
Yeah.
But I advise take a good look at your numbers and, you know, go from there.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Diane or Courtney, any thoughts?
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
when,
go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Courtney.
okay, so, you know, we're not bringing in any money right now, but we're also not spending any money. So we do have some money in the bank. It's not $1 million. One of the things that we discussed is that we wanted to be the network that was providing value without necessarily people having to reach for their pocketbooks right now, because people don't know what's happening and people are cutting back, quite frankly. And so we didn't want to have to charge. We wanted to be able to give them something of value without them having to pay for it, especially right now. And the other thing is that there are so many online offerings right now that are happening for free. You know, we didn't want to not have people show up because it was, even if it was a small dollar amount, when they could hop onto something else for free, because we want to keep having that FaceTime and we want to keep giving the members and the partners that FaceTime. So we're not charging for anything right now. I think programs is waiting to see what happens with gathering to figure out if we're going to be able to have events, and if not, we might discuss doing a fundraiser, but we don't know what it looks like just yet. But as I mean, we're not spending any money,
Right.
that's good.
Okay. Yeah, well, true.
And I encourage you to reach out to strategic partners, because they may have resources that you can use for the network that now you don't have to pay for because they already have them. You know, Women's Council Northeast Ohio isn't paying for the premium Zoom account because one of our partners has Zoom. And so that's something that they can contribute. They already have. And so reach out to people to see what they have that they can contribute, because we really don't have any outgoing expenses at all. I think the only thing that we're spending money on right now is our send out cards. You know, we use the send out cards program to, if somebody dies, gets married or renewed, they get a card, you know?
Yeah, it's a great thing to remember that strategic partners also, as companies, have a lot of in-kind expertise and abilities to do. So if you can cut the expenses, then you can continue to offer some of this stuff to your members for free. Diane, what about you guys?
We're not, we don't view our meetings as money makers either. So we were wanting to, I can kind of just, you know, say the same thing that Catherine and Courtney said, that, you know, we're trying to give them value and also trying to build our membership as a result of giving free value.
Okay.
So
That was another question for all of you. There seems to be some concern maybe in certain markets that there's so much out there. Some of them are having a hard time kind of getting the attendance and getting the participation, and a concern that if it's free, does that suggest the value of what you're offering? I mean, those are sort of classic marketing questions in good times. I'm not sure how they apply in bad times, but what about your biggest getting attendance secret? And are you concerned about membership overall at the end of the year? Do you think you'll maintain or retain your members? Who wants to? Yes.
So we actually have people joining because they want to be on the calls. They want to be featured on Facebook. They don't want to be missing out. So if you use social media to create that FOMO and give people that feeling of, I need to be a part of this. I mean, because normally as a membership director, I'm having conversations with people over a period of time and then they join. But I'm getting emails from National that say you have a new network member. I said, I have never even talked to this person. And it's because of what they're seeing on social media. So you want to give them a reason to feel like they're missing out if they're not a member.
Right.
You can't be on the video. You're not going to be, you know, you're not going to be featured. You're not going to be interviewed. You're not going to see your face and have your bio on the page if you're not our member.
Right. That's a lot of value there. Yes, Catherine.
I agree with a lot of that. And it is the buzz and it is the promotion. You can't expect to declare a Zoom meeting and post it once on Facebook and have people be excited. You have to keep doing it. And then you have to decide between your paid reach, organic reach, how you're going to promote it through all this media. Like we're at the point where we're getting 200 plus views on our replays, where we would get 70 to 90 people at a meeting. So we're reaching more people.
Right.
Our Facebook page that was in existence already took us years to get to almost 1,200 followers. Within 7 weeks, we have 1,600.
Yeah.
Because, and you have to look at the whole promotion is multi-tiered, you know? So, and I agree too, there's a lot of people in this space looking for your time. So it better be something good. Like aside from the live stream, we offer a Tipsy Tuesday. It's a happy hour where we give tips for surviving, you know, in this environment. We also opened a private Facebook page so people could confidentially talk to each other about issues and problems and engagement. But we just came out of the pike for next week with our first big event, and it's a national speaker that people generally used to paying to go to. So I think it has to be back to the value proposition.
Right.
And promotion is 100% the key, or the buzz.
Yeah. It seems you've got a couple of things. You've got the uniqueness of the value proposition, but then you also have the intimacy of being with people who support you, and you know the Women's Council community is unique and you need that, you're craving that. You're playing on both ends, the big value proposition and the small connective intimacy of Women's Council. And that is just, you're doing it, you're probably doing it just subconsciously because that's who you are, but it's really working. That's fantastic. All right, Jamie, do we have any other, thank you guys. Do you have any other comments in the chat or any other questions? We've got just a minute.
It looks like there's one more question in the chat. Let me
Okay.
see. That hasn't been answered. I think there's a brand new one. Which do you think is better, Facebook page or Facebook group?
Both. You
Both.
have both.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think, Catherine, you just said that. It's got to be multi-tier. It's got to be constant. You can't just expect one post, one mailing, one anything to do much of anything these days.
It's just like real estate.
Just like Well, anything else, Jamie? It's we're at the hour.
Nope.
All right. Let me just put up a final slide here. Which is obviously something that I want. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I mean, clearly we could have gone on and on and on. I just want to thank our 4 presenters. You guys just grabbed the bull by the horn and didn't let anything stop you from continuing to connect and provide value and have it be fun and of use. You just are great examples of what I know a lot of folks out there are doing. So I hope you all got some new ideas, new tips on this call today. We didn't want to let any pandemic prevent us from coming together and tapping the wonderful expertise of your peers in the local network. So I know Brenda would say this, and I'll just say it for her, that you know, the local networks are where it all happens. That's who has the most contact with members. That's who delivers on the brand of Women's Council. You make it happen at the local level. And we just want to thank you all for what you're doing in these crazy times and stepping up as leaders. So have a great day. And thank you again so much for your participation. And we love you all. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you
So much.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.